Hey guys, my name is George and I run Yocto. We're a lifecycle marketing agency, a Klaviyo elite partner, and we specialize in helping subscription-based brands crush it in the D2C space. We've worked with Health, Jimmy Joy, Heights, Everyden, Elevate, Collagen, Freya Organics, and multiple others that are scaling very hard. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your loop cancellation flow. I'm going to show you why it's important and how you can optimize it for the best results. Now, you may have heard me talk about the LTV Parthenon. This is our own proprietary framework for optimizing subscription-based businesses. That's probably your business if you're watching this video. If you take a look at the screen, you'll see that it consists of three different pillars. Number one, it's growing your subscriber base. There are specific actions that you can take to do this, and we will cover this in a separate video. Number two is reducing how many subscribers you lose. Extremely important. It's money that exits out the door every single month, and unless you do this, your subscription program can't really compound. And number three, it is of course about increasing the value that your subscribers have for the business. Now, why am I showing you this? So that you see how this video and Loop's cancellation flow fits into the bigger picture of your subscription business. What the cancellation flow will do specifically is that it will help reduce what we call voluntary or active churn. Those are the people that want to cancel their subscriptions with your company. And in optimizing your cancellation flow and loop, which I'm going to show you in a second, you are going to be able to reduce that number dramatically. In so doing, you will be able to retain revenue that you would have otherwise lost, and this will be revenue that comes in without you having to reacquire those customers every single month. It's gonna basically go straight to the bottom line. So this is extremely important and one of the most fundamental pieces that you have in a subscription business. So keep watching because I'm gonna go and show you how to do this step by step. Now, as you may know, the way subscription programs work is that every customer has access to what is called the customer portal. A customer portal basically is a hub for the subscription that the customer has. It may look similar to this example here, wherein the customer can see when their next order will arrive and what progress they've made towards unlocking certain rewards, etc. At the very bottom of the customer portal, there is a button to cancel the subscription. People that click this button obviously are people that we want to retain, right? So everything we show in this video has to do with preventing people that press this button from completing the action that they've started to take. And of course, your customer portal may look slightly different and you may have slightly different colors, etc. But this doesn't really matter. You can customize this and make it appropriate for your brand. What matters is that you understand how the backend process works over on Loop so that you can optimize the conversion really of this flow. So how do you access this? It's actually pretty simple. You head over to your Loop app, you click on retain, and then you press over on cancellation flows. And what you'll see here is that it takes you to this first page, which is called the benefits page. We're going to focus today on the benefits page, the reasons, the offers, how to do the setup, and then how to optimize for best results. If you head over to benefits and create a new page, you will basically see something that allows you to create a screen like this. You can customize the text. You can add videos. In this case, there is a video here that's playing. I've made it so that you can't actually see the video because I don't want to reveal the brand that we are working with, but it essentially acts as a first barrier of defense against people that want to cancel their subscription. And the purpose of this really is to just remind them of the value of the subscription that is signed up for in the first place. After somebody continues to cancel their subscription, you have the option here to collect the reason why they are canceling, right? And obviously this is very helpful from a customer understanding perspective. You want to see what is actually causing them to cancel. And you will have some options here by default, but as I'll show you in a moment, it's best if you customize those options so that you can then see in more granular detail why are people trying to cancel, and in so doing be able to target them with a more appropriate treatment to retain them. And you can also make this optional, by the way, which in this case we've done, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend because you want to be collecting this data, and unless you collect this data, it will be harder to personalize or customize the treatment for its cancellation reason, which you probably should over the long term for the best results. Then we have offers. So the flow is like this. I go to my customer portal, I press on cancel subscription, I see the benefits page, I continue to give the cancellation reason, and then I land on the offers. Now, the offers are basically your last ditch attempts to keep customers. And in this case, this example is telling people to get an extra discount if they stay subscribed. It's the most common way to go about creating a cancellation and save offer. If we zoom out, this is basically it. That's the process. People go to the customer portal, they head over to the benefits page, you have the ability to collect the cancellation reason, and then every cancellation reason also has its own little page that you can customize the content of. You can include multimedia, you can include text, you can include different save options, and then there's the last ditch attempt to retain people. Okay, now that you're familiar with the features, I'm going to show you what to do. What is the playbook really to reduce cancellation? So step number 1 is to run a cancellation survey. This is really important. You want to understand why people cancel in the first place. It can be something as simple as this. Hi, it's George, or whatever the founder name is. I saw that you were subscribed and then you canceled. If you have a minute, will you tell me why here? Boom, there is a survey link. You ask them questions. What you really want to understand is what was happening in their life when they decided to cancel, and what, if anything, they would do differently about the subscription program. That's the essence of what it is that you're trying to find. And you can target this to a Klaviyo segment that looks a little bit like this. They've engaged in a relatively recent time frame, they can receive email, they don't have an active subscription, and they've cancelled at least once over all time. And you will get useful intel in doing this, which will then allow you to do what? To debug the customer journey, as we call it. So for example, if people tell you that they have too much product, the reason why this happens might be because of your frequency settings, right? Like customers might be adding multiple units at a time to the cart, and then you offer a 30-day frequency, which leads them to have too much product. So you should probably change the frequency settings, and then this will help you also with acquisition of new subscribers, but also get the subscribers that you acquire to have a better subscription experience. Or they might tell you, you know what, it was great, but I didn't actually use it. Oh, that's why I canceled. It's not particularly adding value to my life. In which case, what you should probably look into is optimizing the post-purchase education that you have through email, through SMS, through whichever other channel that you use to educate subscribers, and probably help them get a quick win early on into the life cycle so that they are set up for success later on in the subscription duration. An example that comes to mind is that you can tell them that many people forget to take this supplement. It's like life gets in the way, so they should take the supplement after they brush the teeth and combine the new habit with an existing habit so that it is easier to remember. Like that's the type of thing that you would be doing in this case. But once you have this and you have a sense of why people cancel, it's time to create the benefits page. And there's basically two main steps. Number one is to just add text. That's easy. You can do it immediately. You should just remind people of the value that they get. For examples, surprise gifts, access to sales, or free shipping. And of course, you also want to remind people that they can skip at any time. So it's not like if they have too much, they can just skip, right? So that's a very good call out to have. And then ideally, you want to include a video too. A video of the founder or a recognizable face in the brand. If not the founder, you maybe have a spokesperson that you can include. That tends to help. This autoplays, by the way, so get a video in this in mind. And once you have this, the next step would be to customize the cancellation reasons. So for example, in case of a skincare brand, you may have had a skin reaction as an option here. You will surface those cancellation reasons through the survey that we did before. And of course, you want to have a custom page for each of those cancellation reasons that is having an appropriate response to each of them. And obviously, you can include a video here as well. So you can have a video for the benefits page that reminds people why they canceled. And then on top of this, you can have a video for every cancellation reason so that you go super granular and give it the best chance it has in terms of convincing people to stay subscribed to your products. The next part is that, of course, you have your save offers or cancellation offers. Those can be tied to a specific cancellation reason, or you can allow customers to choose between the available offers. You can have those be available to specific reasons, and so you can do both. They can choose, but what they see and what they can pick from is reliant on what reasons they picked initially, right? And this is it. This is the basic setup for how to create a cancellation flow and loop. These are the core functionalities and features. And realistically, if you know what you're doing, you could set this up within a day or two. Now, the next part, however, is how do you optimize this? This is extremely important because a big mistake that I see is that people set this up once and then they forget it. It's almost as bad as not setting it up in the first place. Because again, if you think about it, this is a very high value touch point in a subscription business. If you can prevent people from canceling, if you're able to retain your customers, your business will compound over time tremendously. It's extremely important. It's one of the 3 pillars. This is the most important, in fact, element of the second pillar that we have. And in terms of how do you optimize, the first thing you should think about is that for you to have impact, you need to think of your actions in terms of this very simple equation. Your impact will be determined by the conversion rate of the test that you're running times the impressions that it will get. In other words, you can have a massive conversion rate, but if there's few impressions, meaning people don't really see that or it affects a very small number of people, it doesn't really move the needle that much. So you should focus your optimization where it will be seen by the most people. This is just common sense, and yet I see brands don't really do this often. In the context of the cancellation flow, priority number 1 should be to have an always-on A/B test on the benefits page. Why? Because it has the highest number of impressions. Again, people have to go through this step as they cancel. So any improvement that you have through the benefits page, it's going to have a big impact because it's affecting a lot of people. The first thing that you should probably do is move from communication that looks a little bit like this. So basically talking about the value of the subscription, like we offer the biggest discount and VIP gifts only to subscribers, basically telling people you have this financial benefit if you are subscribed, to something that has emotional value. So in this case, this is addressing people, it's a funny thing, that have OPS, old people smell. And what we say here is that the smell will return basically unless you consistently use the product, and then people won't even tell you. You will be left to guess if you're actually smelling. So it still speaks about the tangible value of the subscription, but there is an underlying psychological element here about the emotional value that the product has. And this will outconvert the original script in almost every case. The next thing is that you should probably let people choose from the save offer and then add more relevant save offers. And what I would recommend you do is to have a long-term view of those offers. So instead of giving them 30% off for one order, you could have 20% off for the next 3 orders, right? Which is to your advantage because you will retain them for longer if they actually stick to this. So another one that you can try is to have some sort of free product added along with a discount to the next order. So both this and the previous offer, the free product and the next 3 orders offer, are geared towards hooking people in because they will try the free product, they may like the free product, they may become customers of the free product, right? And the next 3 orders discount, of course, for them to actually leverage this offer, they have to stick to your subscription for 3 more deliveries. So this is a strictly better way than just having a flat discount. And on top of this, by giving people choice, you are actually giving them a sense of control over their subscription, and you are allowing them to pick what they ultimately want, which is probably they're going to do this better than you are able to guess on your own. The next part, and this is the very last priority for a region, is that you should A/B test the content of the cancellation region that has the most attempts. Again, the principle and idea being that you want to be focusing on where you have the most impressions, where the most people will be affected. And just to be clear on what I'm specifically referring to here, I'm referring to this page. This is the page that they see once they've selected the reason why they're canceling. You should be A/B testing this content, but you should only do so after you've optimized the rest, after you've had the benefits test running, after you've optimized the save offers, etc. And you should start by those that have the most impressions. Everything else is probably just not going to be that effective in the grand scheme of things. Now, let's talk a little bit about the psychology of reducing churn, because this really, after a certain point, it stops being technical/platform problem and it really becomes a marketing/messaging problem. The first thing you should know is that you want to remove shame from people. If you tell them like you were not consistent or like you failed and all of this, it's probably not going to be that effective, right? So what you want to do is actually reassure them of the opposite, that this happens to most people. You didn't actually fail. The second thing is that you should try to reframe the decision from I don't need this to perhaps you feel like you don't need this right now, and then anchor this to a future inconvenience that this will cause. because the only time having your subscription will matter is when you actually don't have it. And then you wanna try as much as possible to remove the perceived effort that is basically works automatically as much as possible, that you are handled, you are covered, you're taken care of without having to think about it. Those are small copy tweaks that will ultimately result in more effective churn reduction content. And a little piece of advice for this, it will be difficult for your copywriters to just create all of this without having a clear sense of how the platform works. So my advice is to take the copywriter that will be producing this content and have them go through the platform with you, or actually show them this video. Maybe this will be enough, so that they see what the customer experience looks like and they can write for the platform limitations that exist instead of writing in a vacuum. And that's the end of the video. And believe it or not, with just this short video, you've learned the fundamental building blocks that will get you 80% of the results in terms of optimizing cancellation flows on loop. Now, obviously, if you need expert help, feel free to contact me directly. There is a link down in the description of this video. We've done this over and over and over again for multiple different brands. We know exactly what works. We will be able to actually set it up for you, or if you would prefer this, guide you through the steps of doing this yourself with your in-house resources. Thank you for watching, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe and leave a comment in terms of what content would you like me to produce next.